speculative book entitled, If It's to Be, It's Up to Me. And in it, he wrote, the 21st century belongs first and foremost to a new mental breed of humans, driven by a strong, sensitive, spiritual individualization. The truth is, there is only one person on earth who can dream your dreams. That person is you. And there's only one person that can kill your dreams. And that person is also you. So, it's your life. You get to choose and you get to live it. You get to live it. That's the name of our talk. It's your life and you get to live it. This year, will you consciously, intentionally, on purpose, live your life? And that's what this month has been about. We have been talking about living our lives consciously, using the science of mind spiritual principles. And so, in this month then, setting the stage, setting the tone for living in 2013, more consciously awake, not sleepwalking any longer, and more spiritually in tune. How great is that? Spiritually awake and in tune. Make this profound decision now. Make this profound decision now. If it is to be, it is up to me. Can you say that with me?
If it is to be, it is up to me.
Yes, that's what we can say to ourselves. We get to choose. The power that we call God, divine essence, that spiritual love, is a dynamic, creative, divine energy that continually expresses through you and through your thinking, beliefs, and attitudes. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, said, the power behind all things is without limit. But in working for us, it must work through us. Realizing then that the power is limitless, it must become operative, he writes, through our own thought. We shall see what we need is not some greater power, but a greater consciousness, a deeper realization of life, a more sublime concept of being, and more intimate concept of an already indwelling God. So each and every week of this month, you've received tools. We've talked every week and given you spiritual tools for a deeper consciousness, a deeper realization of life, a more sublime concept of being, a more intimate concept of that which is already indwelling within you, that spiritual divinity that is alive and moving in and through each and every one. No one left out. Remember that. And today we have three more. We have three more tools that we're going to kind of go over. And we're going to be talking about the 3 R's. And it's not going to be reading, writing, and arithmetic. This is going to be refocus, renew, and recommit. Okay? So, refocus your awareness. Renew your mind. And recommit your awareness. Recommit your awareness. So today, let us refocus our awareness on God's good, knowing it's always operating. It's always operating through us. And we can trust that. That's the part for us to deepen into. The trust part, the faith part, the knowing part. There is a power for good, and it is working through each and every one of us, but it's up to us to become aware of that. We experience that which we look at most. That which we look at most. What are we looking at? What are we focusing our thoughts upon? What are we thinking all the time? Because that's what we are creating. That's what we are creating. What we focus on grows. We know this. It's not just a line, slogan. It is an absolute reality. By focusing our thoughts upon what we want, we create that. By focusing our thoughts upon what we do not want, we create that also. The law is no respecter of persons. It gives to all alike. Everybody gets it. There is no judgment in the law. So in Luke, the scripture says, the lamp of your body is your eye. When, therefore, your eye is bright, your whole body will be lighter. Isn't that nice? That's how, they say the eyes are the windows of the souls, and there you have it. The light in your eye being bright. Are we spending more time looking at the problems in our life? Or are we disciplining ourselves to see the good? Because there's always good in every situation, even that which looks like the worst problem, the worst thing that could possibly be happening. God is multiplying itself in all circumstances. The divine good is always present. But it's up to us to be aware enough to recognize it and to maybe take a little shift, if it's too big, a little shift into the area of there is something for me to learn in this entire experience. God is good all the time, right? We say that. God is here, everywhere, it's omnipresent. God is good, that means that God exists everywhere, even in the most challenging situations. When we don't see the good, it's not because it's not present. It's not because it's not present, but we are simply not aware of the good that is present. It's always present. The Bible story of David and Goliath, which is a phenomenal symbology, it's a great story, offers a powerful message for us even today. In the story, David, at the time, a small shepherd boy, was bringing food to his brothers who were preparing for battle. And they were the Israelite soldiers under King Saul's command. And he had heard of this giant Philistine soldier, Goliath, who was terrorizing the Israelites. And so David volunteered to King Saul, saying, "Let no man's heart fail because of him, because of that giant. Your servant I will go and fight this Philistine." At first, the king brushed off David. How could a mere kid, small little person that he was, take on this mighty warrior? But David was persistent, perhaps even a little bit like a pest. The story spends a lot of time, there's a lot of time in the story, describing Goliath's fearsome height, his bulk, and his mighty armor. They are vividly described for a simple reason, to let us know the story is about us. The story is about us. We tend to see the Goliaths of our lives, the problems, as massive. They're huge and overwhelming. We measure ourselves against what feels immense, becoming entirely caught up in this belief about the Goliath, this Goliath power. Remember, it's our Goliaths are our huge problems that we've got great imaginations for the good and also for the not so good. So we imagine it so much larger than it really is. Perhaps it would be wise to refocus your awareness of God's good, to refocus it rather than on the massive strength of your problem. Said another way, instead of bringing your, I like this so much, instead of bringing your problems to God, your big, huge problems to God, why don't you bring the big God to your problems?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? When King Saul finally allowed David to take on Goliath, he outfitted this young shepherd in all of the armor, the helmet, the sword, the whole thing. David was going into battle and therefore given the tools that appeared to fit the circumstance. We too tend to take on our Goliaths by following protocol, certain way to handle certain problems, the way of the world. But if you do things the way you've always done them, you've heard this, you'll get the results you've always gotten. Right? There's always another way. New cause, new effect. New cause, new effect. Remember the law of cause and effect? So it's always functioning. So there's another way. David, for instance, didn't feel supported by this armor. He felt weighed down. He knew better than to try and tackle a giant in giant garb. He shrugged off this armor and reached instead for his staff, and he had gotten these 5 smooth stones from the river, put them in his bag along with his sling. And David said to Goliath, "You come to me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord." In other words, he chose instead to focus his awareness on the power of the God within him. Armed with the tools that he knew to be his strength, and armed with the faith in the strength of God working through him. It's working through all of us if we are aware of it. And David hurled a stone at Goliath, and the giant fell. David knew that no matter how diminutive he appeared, his faith was bigger than a boastful soldier. His faith was bigger than any problem, than a Goliath. We all have Goliaths. They come in and out of our lives. So I don't know what your Goliath may be right now, but I do know that if you draw upon the resources that are natural to you, draw upon your faith in the divine, in spirit, in God, in this divine intelligence, and like David, willingly step out. You got to step out. You got to do that step thing. We got to willingly step out. You will harness the divine strength that leads you into greatness. There is no one here that is excluded from moving into their greatness, expressing the truth of who they are. The David experience says, I can do this, but my size isn't the barrier. My age isn't the barrier. My education isn't the barrier. And everything that looks like armor that I might put on to protect me really does nothing but confine me. Whatever I face is nothing compared to who I truly am. No matter what shows up in life, that divinity within each and every one is so powerful and will support you, but you must be aware that it exists. And then through all the spiritual practices that we learn, establish a relationship with it. You don't need to become anything more powerful. You don't need to. The power is already within each and every one of us. So choose. I invite you to choose to refocus your awareness on that power. Refocus your awareness by reminding yourself there is no problem confronting me that can begin to match the awesome power of the God within me. There's no problem facing me that the supportive, loving presence within us will not guide us into moving right through the problem. And we all know the problems come and go. But our divine nature is omnipresent, changeless, and always there to support us. And so we move on to the second R. Renew your mind. The greatest New Thought statement in the Bible says, Be ye transformed, I want to say this clearly, by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I have a true story to illustrate this point, and about this woman and her mind to transform her life from poverty and struggle to great success. Several years ago, an important speaker addressed the student body of a small college in South Carolina. The auditorium was filled with students excited about this opportunity to hear this woman speak. And the governor was there, and the governor gave the instructions that the speaker moved to the microphone. And as she did this, she gazed out at the audience from left all the way over to the right. And she said, this is how she began her talk. I was born to a mother who was deaf and who could not speak. And a father that I never met. Never knew him, never met him, and still haven't. The first job I ever had was in a cotton field. And the audience at this point was spellbound. She continued, nothing has to remain the way it is, she said, if it is not the way we want it to be. It isn't luck, and it isn't circumstances, and it isn't being born a certain way that causes a person's future to become what it becomes. And she softly repeated, nothing has to remain the way it is. That's not the way we want it to be. All we have to do is to change this whole situation that brings unhappiness or dissatisfaction is answer the question, how do I want this situation to be? How do I want this situation to be? Then we must commit totally to personal actions that carry us there. All right, we can think about things all we want, but when it comes time to take a few, as Jeannie had put down, baby steps, we've got to start taking those steps. We've got to do the action, or else it just stays. It doesn't become anything. But then this woman continued with this beautiful, bright smile upon her face. She said, at that point, my name is A.Z. Taylor Morton, and I stand before you as the treasurer of the United States of America. This is a true story. And there is huge freedom in that story. There's huge, it's an illustration of what we can accomplish if we believe it. If we believe it. That's the freedom. It's what makes New Thought so powerful. This spiritual teaching is so powerful because it empowers people to use their God-given talents, to think clearly and to take right action. That is what this teaching is all about. And it's your life. You get to live it any way you want to live it. How you live your life doesn't affect me. It affects you. It affects you. And it's never too late. Remember that. Because I hear people saying stuff like that. Don't let that belief in age or money or education or any other thought of lack and limitation, because that's what that is. It's lack and limitation hold you back. If you're truly dissatisfied with what is happening in your life, you can change it. You can change it. Sometimes it takes courage. You got to move out of a familiar situation. You got to move in a different direction. And I have to say, it takes courage. And so, you know, I salute each one that steps out and expresses their gifts because they believe in it, because they are in integrity, which is a divine virtue. Integrity is a divine virtue. But it's so worth it. It's so worth taking that step and being happy in life. It's so worth it. And then commit yourself fully to your personal beliefs that support your success. Because success, by the way, is a divine principle. Isn't that great? We're supposed to be successful. So be successful in something you enjoy being, thinking, doing, saying, showing up in the world. It's wonderful. The total commitment to personal belief that support your success and actions and will carry you there. And that moves us into the third R this morning. Recommit your heart. Recommit your heart. A lot of intelligence. We learn that in the Kabbalah, but it's also, they're proving that in science too, that there is more intelligence in your heart than up here. So listen to the heart. Listen to this intuitive self that's giving you guidance. So you're going to recommit your heart, and you might ask, to what? To what? To beliefs and actions that support the life you desire to live, And a good place to start would be the basic tenets of Science of Mind. Our Science of Mind book, this is Living the Science of Mind, but our Science of Mind book has so much information about spirituality and how to live our lives so that we can enjoy and co-create. Use the God stuff that's all around us. We don't create the God stuff, but we get to use it, and we have been given choice. So we choose how we want to use it. We choose it. So first, take an inventory. Take an inventory of your spiritual practices. Do you have any? It's building those spiritual muscles up. This is the perfect time right now. We're in January 2013. We're not in February yet. We're in January. My brain is in February. Refine them. Retool them where you think it's needed. Perhaps you work with one of our practitioners, and they do spiritual coaching. They do these hour-long sessions that could help you clarify and clear away that which might be holding you back, or getting you straight so that you can understand and get some clarity about your life. After I have a story that goes in line with this. And it's this story about this man that was working out. He was working out. It was his, I guess, his commitment for January, and he was doing some physical workout. And so, let me find it. So there was this man who embarked on this exercise regime. And after several weeks, he was with a trainer, and he was very proud of himself, and he went to the trainer and he said, I am making such great progress. I am making such great progress. I started this whole working out thing with holding 5-pound bags and my arms straight out. And I held them there for as long as I could and down again. After a few weeks, I moved up to holding a 10-pound potato sack. These are potato sacks. And then 50 pounds. And eventually, I got to the point of holding a 100-pound potato sack in each hand and holding it straight out for more than a minute. What do you think of that? He said very proudly. The trainer said, well, sir, that is really quite good. Quite good. But might I suggest that the next time you actually put some potatoes in the sacks? Sometimes on our own, we don't do that well. We don't fill up the sacks. And so we have all this great stuff, but there's no substance in it. There's no substance to get the spiritual muscle going. My spiritual practices are always one where I am in, mine personally, where I'm in class or classes, and what they do is they hold me accountable, they keep me centered. I have to do the readings, whether I want to or not, because the ego Margaret might want to go out and have some other fun and go out and just go to the movies, go shopping, whatever. But because I have these classes, I sit down, I do the reading, I get focused, and through that reading I'm like, oh, I'm feeling so good by the end of the reading. They're both in classes. You are feeling so good, and then you go to class with these like-minded people, and it is just phenomenal. So that's part of the spiritual practice. That's just one aspect of it. And right now, we have one class, the abundance class, which is abundance and the dynamic law of attraction. And out of the 3 books, we have this one little book, and most of you know of it. It is Abundance by John Randolph Price. The Abundance book is a 40-day program. It is really awesome. And in reading about abundance consciousness, there's also 10 principles, spiritual principles, that are written out, that you repeat for 4 times. So this is a program that goes on, a lot of you here are in that class, it goes on for 40 days, and you are contemplating this principle, spiritual principle you're reading, you're meditating on it, and you're journaling on it. And then it was so cool because one of our students decided she was going to do a group email, and she's emailing us this principle. We're on 6. See, I'm doing it. So she's emailing this to us each day. So when I'm on the floor doing my meditation, I pick up my phone, and I got principle number 6 on my phone. And if I'm out and about, and I just want to get reconnected, pick up my phone, Jeannie Plawacki, and press that button right on, and there it is. Principle number 6. Have some kind of affirmation in your life that you can connect to. Have meditative practice in your life where you can allow God. Remember, meditation is God speaking to you, and prayer is you speaking to God. And so, cultivate your own, because it will deepen you. It will enrich your entire life. So this morning then, I invite you to recommit your heart, because it touches the heart, to the basic tenets of science of mind. They will lead you to that greater life. And what I want to read right now is something that when we do our new member packets, which we're in the middle of doing, it's going to be included in there. I'm going to read part of it, most of it. It's called it's from Living the Science of Mind. I was trying to make it shorter, but I couldn't. What we believe. So I just listen to this. This is Ernest Holmes. And this is what we believe in science of mind. We believe in the incarnation of spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that the kingdom of heaven is within man, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be emancipated from all discord of every nature, and that is the goal that is surely be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of man, and that any man can become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of the mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand that the life of man is God. It's your life. It's your life. Live it. It's your life. Live it. Live it. Don't just dwell in it. Live it. So this is the beginning of a whole, oh, these off. This is the beginning of, I can't see you with them on. This is the beginning of a whole new year. A new year full of limitless possibilities, infinite potentialities. Really, spirit is limitless, and we have been created out of the nature of Spirit God, so we are limitless in what we can create in our lives. So this year is a year to demonstrate more and more of this good by refocusing your awareness, renewing your mind, and recommitting your heart. Recommitting your heart to spiritual beliefs and practices. And I have a very short meditation reading. He calls it meditations from Holmes. He writes, by some inner mystic presence, I was told to live and to love, to laugh and to be glad. I was told to be still and know of the one almighty power in and through all. I was told to let that power work in and through me. I believed that voice, and I received my good. And so I am inviting each and every one to be open and receptive to that good as it comes through you. Recognize it. Develop a spiritual practice that allows you to recognize it really quickly, because you can. And when you do, you'll make a choice of moving into a place of experiencing your good, because this is your life, and I am inviting each and every one of us to live it. Live it. So it is.
Oh, so